Hi, I'm Brad with Gigabyte Grove, and on today's episode, we're going to have a little bit of a discussion, and that's mainly going to be our experience with moving from central New York State to south central Georgia, and some of the hurdles that we encountered moving this far south. This video may not be for everyone, but that's fine. If you're interested in learning a little bit about how Gigabyte Grove got started and kind of the first couple of months here, then this is going to be the video for you. Stick around.
Gigabyte Grove, where the future stands. Gigabyte Grove, where the data flows. Living off the grid, but the Wi-Fi's closed. Sustainable dreams in a connected scene. Innovation blooms in the southern breeze.
All right, so first and foremost, this is more of a blog style video. If this is not your thing, completely understandable. Stick around, there'll be more content coming. But for right now, I did want to actually reach out, kind of explain a little bit about what Gigabyte Grove is and how it actually got started. So in July of 2024, my wife Jen and I decided that it was time to move outside of New York. It was getting too expensive. The winters just weren't working for us anymore. And some of the things that have been happening in New York, I don't want to get into politics, but some of the things that were happening in New York, we didn't completely agree with anymore. And we decided it was time for a change. There were other life events that actually happened that also facilitated the push to actually move south. And south central Georgia just seemed like the place to go, primarily because of the temperate climate, quite a bit easier going than central New York State, where as of the recording of this video, they are getting their, I think, fourth or fifth, I don't want to say moderate because it's definitely not moderate, but significant snow event of 2025. You may have seen some of the videos or some of the pictures that are circulating on the national stage. I'll go ahead and have some up on the screen so you guys can kind of see what they're dealing with, specifically in places like Williamstown and Amboy Center, New York. That's actually my stomping ground. That's where I grew up. So that's kind of what I'm used to. And then we moved from that to south central Georgia. And as you can see, it's a 50-degree day and it's February and I'm just outside with a hoodie on. So, we made the move down here. We purchased the property at the end of September 2024 from a nice family who decided to relocate from the area. And no one could have expected Hurricane Helene to kind of hit as hard as it did this area. And realistically, the only damage that we had was sitting on this concrete pad right here. There was a metal workshop or a shed that was just torn to shreds in the oh my gosh, in the hurricane force winds for this area. And realistically, I mean, we lost a piece of siding on the garage, but it ended up kind of over here towards the back edge of the property line, and it was just a simple attach it back. It's vinyl siding, so it pops back on when you need to access certain things. So it literally was just a matter of putting it back in the channel and bam, it was up to go. This was the actually only significant damage that we had here, and that structure was a complete loss. Not really that concerned about it because eventually there's going to be I don't want to call it a guest house because that's not really what it is, but a tiny dwelling, we'll call it that, that if family and friends come to visit us rather than staying in a hotel, which there's no hotels within a 15-20 minute drive of here. They can actually stay in that and be close to the property, but have their own privacy as well. So anyway, let's get back to the property itself. So I've worked in IT for, oh my gosh, almost 30 years. So I think we're approaching 27 years now. And the basis of my knowledge is self-taught, and I've just picked pick stuff up over the years. Some people say that I'm on the spectrum. It is what it is. Yeah, I'm good at tech. I don't want to put a label on it. I'm good at technology. I like technology. It just makes sense to me. And then my wife is, she's been in the healthcare industry, or the health industry, for probably like the last 15 years, and has graduated to a health systems job, which allows her the ability to work from home. So that's, that was one of the things that facilitated that. I work from home. I run my own company, doing information technology services, and she works from home doing her own thing. And because we are both remote employees, it really did work for us that we were able to kind of pick up and move to Georgia. Really, the only variable that we had was our son, and he's young enough that a significant move like that, really wasn't that big of a deal. I say big deal. Yeah, obviously it's a big deal. It's a huge change of scenery going from somewhere he's known the first, X number of years of his life, 6 years of his life, to now somewhere where, there's a whole new school and whole new friends, a whole new property. And, that's a little different. The kid was all for it. I mean, honestly, if he was even the tiniest bit reserved, he didn't show it whatsoever. He was rip roaring, ready to go. Anytime we had concerns, he didn't. One of those types of situations. So if for us to move to South Georgia was really a no-brainer, because all the cards for us just lined right up in a row. All right, so let's talk about some of the plans that we have for Gigabyte Grove. Now, you guys have seen the building in the back a couple of times. It's just sitting right over my head here. That will eventually become my workshop. So at some point in the next 10 years, or if if we get enough support from the channel to kind of make it possible, I actually plan on turning that into a sizable tech DIY haven type of building. There'll be self-sufficient technology operations going on in that building. So things like web hosting. I'm a huge nerd when it comes to networking and web hosting. I've run my own web hosting company for 17 years now. Probably closer to 20, way closer to 20. I think we're coming up on 19 years in 2025. But I'll actually have a couple server rooms, smaller server rooms in this building, and powered by renewable resources. We try to take it off the grid as much as possible. But again, things like that, the support from our viewers, support from Patreon or donations or buying stuff from the merch store, helps facilitate stuff like that happening sooner. Something that would take us maybe 5 years to save for. Those donations and purchases and support from our viewers, things like that, could shave it down to a year, 6 months, something like that. No, while we're not asking for donations and things like that, they go a long way to help us kind of put out content or get these projects started, jumpstart these projects to getting them done sooner than we had hoped, or I guess planned to get them done through regular saving. So I had already talked about the guest house here. It's basically like a studio apartment type of situation with a bathroom, is kind of what we're planning, because it's a small concrete pad. It's already got water, it's already got power that goes to it. So really the only thing we'd have to do is worry about where the septic goes from there, and it's not far from where my septic tank and leach field and all that actually is. So that really wouldn't be too difficult to do anything with. I talked about this building here. Another thing that we plan on doing is solar. So I want to try to get into doing solar, not necessarily because we need to, but because of where we are, it just makes sense. So with the garage, which is actually off to my right, camera's left, I believe. with the garage in the house, the roof real estate here, we don't have, it's a single level house. We don't really have any big peaks or valleys or weird configurations with the roof where, we've got like one of those types of things. It's relatively flat, and it's the installation for solar would be extremely simple to get something like that running. And while it will take us off the grid and it will lower our expenses for running things in the house and stuff like that, it makes sense with where we are and the amount of sunshine that we get. I mean, it's February, and I'm not going to mess with the camera placement right now, but there's not really a whole lot of clouds going on in the sky. It is a little on the chilly side. I say chilly, but it's like 50, 55 degrees out here. And, the sun's not even, it's like 10 o'clock in the morning. It's not even midday yet. And it's still really warm. You can hear it's a beautiful day outside. So the capacity for getting solar on the property or generating our own electricity is a huge incentive here, just because it's available, two, it's clean and reliable, and three, we would have the ability to be self-sufficient. And that's really the goal for Gigabyte Grove, is to have have that connection to the grid if we need it, but to not need it. And that's really where things are headed here, is we want to be able to leave that connection to the grid there, but not have to need it. We would like to grow our food here so we don't have to go to the store, produce our electricity here so we don't have to go and contact the power company to have a bill generated each month. Stuff like that. As much as we can do on the property, I want to do on the property. And there's a lot of stuff with homesteading where it's about doing stuff for yourself. I'm not a carpenter. I don't really know anything about wood. I don't really know anything about building anything, but that's not to say that I'm not interested. I haven't tried. I don't want to learn. I 100% want to learn. I'm completely off topic. I have a coffee table from my childhood that I've recently restored. It's literally sitting sanded on the bench right now in the workshop, getting ready to be stained. I'm probably going to stain it here within the next week or so. And, that'll be something that I pass down to my son, and he passes down to his son, because it was passed down to me. And, it was beaten, battered, and kind of ruined from being 40 plus years old. So yeah, I've got stuff like that. I've dabbled in electrical. I've dabbled in plumbing. I want to hone those skills, be able to do stuff here on the property. And when we're talking about the guest house, studio apartment, whatever you want to call it from this point, I plan on doing a lot of the plumbing stuff myself. I may feature, friends of mine that have the knowledge, that have the skill to do that, that can, maybe be, hey, whoa, don't do that type of, hands-off stuff when we go to do it. But I plan on doing that stuff myself. When this building in the back gets finished, I plan on doing a lot of the wiring myself. Obviously, it's going to have to be inspected by codes and blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of red tape and everything, but a lot of that knowledge I plan on doing myself. The garage itself needs to be rewired. We've got some of the way that the house and some of the exterior lights are hooked up is not anything I'm used to. It's something I got to learn. This porch that I'm actually sitting on, one of the next big construction projects we have for the property, is actually screen this in, because we have 2 cats, and they are eager to get outside for some reason. And we want them to have the ability to actually sit outside in the fresh air instead of being stuck inside of the manufactured air. So to have them be able to come outside is huge. So what are some of the projects that we already have done here at Gigabyte Grove? Well, not much, unfortunately. With getting down here from New York, it was a significant expense. Anyone that's ever moved cross country or, more than say 500 miles, you understand that it costs quite a bit there's a cloud. You understand that it costs quite a bit to move a distance like that. So we are tackling projects as we can. That's not to say that anything is delayed. We just kind of have to shuffle some of our projects around so that we can do them in the order that they need to be done. Some of the big stuff that I've kind of been focusing on lately is like the networking stuff to kind of get the systems here at Gigabyte Grove up, running, reliable, things like that. I've been doing a little bit. Caleb really wants to get into the radio astronomy type of stuff. So that was actually why I reached out to see if I could get my hands on the Discovery dish. Unfortunately, again, they weren't able to send one to us. If someone from Kraken RF is watching that, please reconsider. That kid was so disappointed. And, you know, he's, yeah, that kid, he wants to work for NASA someday. So getting one of those here, I think would be huge for him. So, but no, I'm mainly working on like RF and stuff like that. Just trying to get some stuff, some content out, get some stuff together, pique some interest, and, you know, trying to establish the channel a little bit. You know, I've reached out to a couple of companies, had some interest. You know, we've got a big one is actually Raolink, the camera company. They've sent quite a few different cameras for us to kind of look at, and that's something that I'm going to do probably within the next couple of videos. I got a couple of cameras that I do want to talk about. One wired camera that we have quite a few of here, and one wireless camera, which actually defeats my expectations of what a wireless camera actually is. Because working in IT for as long as I've worked in IT, I have always told people to wire your cameras, don't go wireless. But this specific camera has definitely changed that for me regarding that specific camera. I'm a stubborn person when it comes to technology. And I recommend what I recommend because I've done my research on it, but that one blew all my expectations out of the water. So how can you support Gigabyte Grove? Well, there's a lot of different ways that you can actually support us. You can make a donation on PayPal if that's something that you wish to do. You can set it up as a monthly one. No one's asking you to do that, but if you do decide to do that, it would be greatly appreciated. You can use the link on our website at gigabytegrove.com, click on store, and check out some of the merch that we've got up there. A lot of that stuff is, you know, fairly priced, and it helps support the channel. So 100% of that, or a good portion of that, actually goes back to us to build some of these projects, work on the property. It's not going to go for, you know, like a lavish lifestyle, anything like that. We're all about modest living here at Gigabyte Grove. So it's not like we're going to go out buy a Ferrari and blah, 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 blah. We're not like that. That's not really a thing here. So, you know, the PayPal link, buying stuff from the merch store, you know, like, comment, subscribe, share the videos that we post, whether it be on TikTok or Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, any of that stuff. Getting our content into the hands of people that might be interested in it or might be interested in supporting it. That's huge, especially nowadays with how social media is and everything. Is it just takes the right group of people to really change the way that people think about technology and rural living. You know, especially now in 2025, you know, this may be true for, you know, my generation, the millennial generation, not so much for the Gen Zers or Gen Alphas, but the push towards city lifestyle or city living is huge. And with the millennial population, or at least from my experience, it's all about getting away from people, that peopleophobia, if you will, or getting away from people, but dragging your feet on doing so because of the modern conveniences of city life that you think you're going to miss out on. Well, this channel exists to prove that you can still have that. You know, we're in rural Georgia and I have a 10 gig fiber connection. We're in rural Georgia and I have, you know, all of the stuff, you know, T-Mobile home internet, we've got Starlink, we've got, you know, all the stuff that we have here. We've got fiber optics that run between buildings to do connectivity here. You know, it's not about city lifestyle. It's about how much you can actually get out of rural living or living in the middle of nowhere and still have those conveniences that you enjoy from city lifestyle. I can tell you right now, before, when I was a young bachelor many eons ago, I loved city life. I loved living in the city. That was back when I was in my 20s. I lived in the city of Syracuse, New York. And while at Syracuse, New York, I still liked living in the city because everything was close by. I was young. It had a great, you know, great feel to it. You know, the hustle and bustle of the big city and blah, blah, blah. And the older I got, the further I wanted to get away from city living. And that rings true for a lot of people. The older you get, the further away from people you want to be, peopleophobia. And, you know, that's kind of who this channel is for, is, you know, oh, I want to move, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to give up my fiber internet, or I'm afraid I'm going to have to give up this convenience or that convenience, and oh, I'm going to have this problem. You won't. You know, this is showcasing some of the stuff that you can have on that rural property that will extend that lifestyle. Home automation and you know, wireless internet and you know, things like that. There's so much that you can do, especially nowadays. There's so much that you can do to improve your quality of life with rural living and enjoy the peaceful, serene views of country living, regardless of where it is. It doesn't have to be in South Central Georgia. It could be in Washington State. You could be in rural New York State and enjoy the 6 feet of snow in the wintertime that they just got. You could be in Florida. You could be in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico. Does not matter where you are. Rural living is rural living. Whatever your style of rural living is, or, you know, whatever you dream it to be, is fully capable and leading a modern connected lifestyle. That is the point of Gigabyte Grove. It's not a place per se. It's an idea that can be replicated, you know, in other spots. It doesn't have to be in South Central Georgia. It can be anywhere. So what are the plans for some upcoming videos? Well, I've mentioned it a couple of times. You know, we've talked about it on our Facebook and had some posts. And there's a couple things on our website about it. Some of the videos or some of the topics that I want to cover coming up, whether it be, you know, in the next couple of videos or over the course of the next couple of months or over the course of 2025, is a like radio astronomy and things like the GOES weather satellite, which is a free geostationary satellite. Basically, it's a satellite that stays in the same place in the sky based on your location, and using simply a computer and a USB device and an antenna, you can download real-time weather maps and kind of see what's going on in your area. So if that's something that you're interested in, you know, I plan on doing something like that. The NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, part of the National Weather Service, has the GOES and the NOAA satellites. So that's GOES and POES. So geostationary orbital environmental satellites and polar orbit environmental satellite. Or environmental satellite. Those are two different things that I want to talk about here. The NOAA stuff is a little more easy to receive because, you know, you can set up a stationary antenna, or I'm sorry, the GOES stuff is a little more easy to receive because you can set up a stationary antenna. The NOAA is a little more difficult to receive because the satellite kind of moves around, and that's stuff that we'll talk about in a future video. I do want to talk about some projects that are near and dear to my heart, like the Kraken RF, SDR trunk, which is a, you know, if you're huge into like radio and police scanning and things like that, that's a great system to have as well. You know, it doesn't work for everybody because of radio encryption and stuff like that, which I'm not going to go into, but I do not support public safety radio encryption. You can argue as much as you want that after working in the emergency services field, both inside and now outside of it, the importance of having those feeds available to your community is vital, especially, you know, in an area like South Central Georgia, which gets severe weather. Them knowing what's going on in their community is vital, whether you think so or not. No one really cares if Jim Bob's stopping to get a coffee. We care if a road is closed because a tree fell on a house, or, you know, things like that. Facebook updates, I'm not talking anything specific, but Facebook updates are not a way to notify your citizens of an event. I'll talk about that in a future video. I'll probably record a video after this, a rant about public radio encryption. But SDR Trunk is a great piece of software that allows you to turn any computer into a radio scanner, but I'll cover that in a future video. You know, there's other stuff that I want to cover. How to set up like a TP-Link Deco system, or how to set up a TP-Link Omada system, Unify systems, networking, and product reviews on like cameras and some good software that you can use to protect your property. But I'm also taking suggestions. Both Jen and I are taking suggestions for things that people want to see covered. You know, I've worked in the IT industry for a long time, 27 years. And I know a little bit about everything and a lot about nothing. So if you're interested in looking into something for your property or your house or your apartment, and you know there's just not a video out there on a deep dive of it, or you know the videos that are out there aren't as involved as you'd like them to be, drop them in the comments down below. Send us a message at gigabytegrove.com. Scroll all the way to the bottom of the homepage. There's a nice little contact form there. Let us know your video ideas. We'll try to make them if we can. We'll try to get product reviews. If you've got a product you want us to review, send it along. Yeah, we'd love to try it out. You know, I personally am not below expanding the channel out. I realize what this actually is. If we can utilize your project here on the property at Gigabyte Grove, yeah, send it along. If we can utilize your idea for something that'll make our sustainable life easier, send it along. Let's try it. Let's build something together. You know, we say that all the time. Let's build something together. Gigabyte Grove is more than just me and Jen and Caleb. It's something that my family can come and enjoy for generations after I'm gone. You know, it's something that my friends and their family can come and enjoy for generations after we're gone. It's an idea and something that we can pass along to try to get rid or break down the stereotype of, I don't want to live far out because blah, blah, blah. You know, perfectly where I am literally 15 minutes from every restaurant or store you could possibly think of. And while it doesn't seem like it, I actually am. And that's one of the reasons why we selected the property that Gigabyte Grove is located on, is because of its convenience to our necessities. So, you know, we have a Walmart, we have an Aldi, we have you know, my son's favorite restaurant, Zaxby's and DQ, right across from each other, all within 15 minutes of where we're located. You know, Dollar General is here. They're everywhere here for some reason. Which, I mean, they were in New York too, but you know, Dollar General, Aldi, Walmart, you know, Publix, they're everywhere here. And we've got them within 15 minutes of where we're located. So some of the topics to watch out for, or that I know we're going to cover in upcoming series, we're going to do more about technology. So more about networking, computers, and connectivity. We're going to do more about radio and RF, you know, things like that. So scanning and locating and radio astronomy and stuff like that. So we're going to cover more of that. I know Jen wanted to do some gardening stuff, so we'll have some of that coming soon as well. Some of the projects that she wants. So, you know, screening in the porch is a project that Jen wants, and we're going to record a video showcasing how we did it, how it was constructed, all of that stuff. Caleb wants to do some woodworking stuff, some radio astronomy stuff. So, some of the videos are going to be focused on some of the projects that he wants to do. Andrew, who actually is the editor of this video, and huge thanks to Andrew for all the work he's doing. We honestly, we couldn't have done this without him, because between running the companies that I run and being a father and, maintaining this property and a good husband and, having a full-time job, I don't have time to edit these things. And Andrew just knocked it out of the park with the first couple of videos, and he continues to do it. So he's a great asset. Make sure to drop him some love in the comments down below as well. But like Andrew, Andrew might have some projects he wants to do here as well. Something where, he can come here and enjoy, the fruits of his labor, whether he wants to set up, Andrew isn't huge into like the technology stuff, the radio stuff I am, but like if he decides he wants to set up his own computer that he can access remotely and set up a SDR for blah, 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 he can come and do that. If, Brian or Dakota or Eric or any of the other friends that, that we call our friend family, Mike, Stephanie, any of them want to set something up here, they can do so. And it's a place for them to come and do it as well. It's not just for us, but that's some of the stuff that we want to do, or we want to create a cohesive environment where, yeah, it's our house, it's where we live, but beyond the back porch, that's for everybody else. That's for entertaining and family and friends and projects, and you name it, we can do it. So that's kind of some of the topics we're going to cover here on the channel. So as I had said in the beginning of the video, this is kind of a loosey-goosey, kind of discussion video. It's not really, it's not the typical type of video. It's not a tutorial. It's not a discussion about technology or anything like that. We're just talking about the channel and where we want to see everything go. If you have suggestions for how to, or things that you'd like to see us cover, please go ahead and drop those down in the comments below. Make sure you reach out to us on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and, all the places that you see Gigabyte Grove. Interact with us. That helps us grow. It makes the algorithm gods happy. Our first video, the AdGuard video, did really, really well. And I'm really impressed with, the viewership on it and how many people were interested in it, and how many clicks we got and all that stuff. The metrics for it were well beyond what I had expected for our first video. So, or our first tutorial video. So, keep that going, keep the love. That's how we know that we're doing a good job. It's how we know you guys are interested in the content we're creating, and it helps to fuel us putting out more content like it. So, if I release a video on ADSB and it only gets, 500 views and 3 comments, well, it'll probably be a while before I put out another video on ADSB or technology about it, or, something similar. Whereas if I get something, if I put out a video about a Railink camera and it balloons through the roof, 15,000 viewers and thousands of comments and blah, I'm probably going to feature more Railink stuff. So the way that you guys interact with this content really does dictate what content actually comes out on the channel. So if you see something featured that you like, or you like the concept of it, like it, comment, share it, let us know that you enjoy it, so we can actually see that's what you like, and we'll put out more of it. Now, every video is not going to be for everyone, and that's fine. Completely understand that. I'm the same way. I've been using YouTube myself for, God, I've had a Gmail account since 2005, and I think 2007 was when I started using YouTube regularly, and it's been the same account ever since then. It's my algorithm's all kinds of screwed up, but the more that you interact with our content, the more that we can see that on the back end, and the more that we're going to favor the content that gets interacted with. So again, if I cover or Jen covers or we feature something with Caleb in it that you guys like, let us know. The only way to see more of it is to let us know. So make sure that you interact with it so that we can facilitate that, put that out for you guys. All right, so that's going to do it for today's video. Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, interact with us on all the other websites. GigabyteGrove.com is our website. Check out the store. Check out some of the tutorials that we have there. And let us know what you want us to do. Please, we need to know. It's not that we're running out of ideas. We want to tailor the videos to what the viewers actually want. We want to be able to create content that is replicable, something that you can take a concept and change it for your own property, change the ideas subtly so that it works for your property. That's the whole point of everything that we're doing here, and we can't do it without you. So until the next time, we'll see you guys around the Grove.